Lakeland Now in View with Andrea Oliver is produced in partnership with Florida Southern College and is sponsored by Bella Visage Medical and Aesthetic Rejuvenation. Thank you for supporting independent local journalism.
It was the love of volleyball that brought her to the state of Florida. Now she's making even bigger moves, albeit on a different court. Hi, I'm Andrea Oliver, and in this edition of Lakeland Now in View, I get the chance to sit and chat with Emily Colón. She's Lakeland's Assistant City Manager. Emily, it is such a joy to have you in the seat. I wanted to do this actually for quite some time, but I said, let me give you a little moment to get your feet, so to speak, wet in the water. We're coming up on a big anniversary here. It'll be almost a year since you were hired in this role.
2 years.
Is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
But we lost 2020, right?
Yeah, we're not counting that year at all.
I mean, I felt like that was an extra 5.
Yes. So how has the years shaped up? How have they turned out for you?
The 2 years having been in Lakeland?
Yes.
So Lakeland's a little bit of a homecoming to me. I grew up here coming as a kid. So it's surreal to be back here as a working professional and having a role that I do in the city. So it has been a wonderful experience. Like I said, it's kind of like a little bit of a homecoming. So it feels good to be here, and now having my family here when I was coming here as a kid.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you're coming up on an all-important anniversary again. Last year was a challenging year. It was a year when we're like, how do we start something new? But then again, how do we not? How were you able to perform the task? And we're going to get a little deeper into those, but how were you able to do those in a year that posed so many challenges?
Local government exists for a purpose, and I think COVID just kind of was a highlight why we have local government. When the state shuts down, when different organizations can shut down, we can't. We can't stop picking up trash. We can't turn off the electric. We can't stop the water running from your faucet, right? Those are essential services that our citizens depend on us for. And so COVID just really shifted our ability to do our services, and just, it was a good case study that I'm sure I'll talk about, to my kids 25 years from now. But I think it helped us be more flexible and adaptable as a local government. So,
well, I know that as the Assistant City Manager, you're like third in line, or so to speak, in terms of non-elected officials. So here you are, and it means that you're answerable to some folks, but there are a number of people in departments who are answerable to you. Tell me a little bit about that balance, and how are you able to conduct the very fine line and maybe fine wire possibly that you have to walk on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I just love people. So to me, the more people I can work with, the better. And I love working with the departments. I have the opportunity to work with plenty of them inside the department, and I love leading. So I'm kind of in the sweet spot, I say, where I get to, have a boss that's not an elected official, and I have plenty of really dedicated employees that I can count on.
We mentioned at the top of the program that you actually came to Florida, again, let's put it that way, as a volleyball scholar. And I know you've served in several areas in the state, most recently with Pasco County, but you've also been at the federal level because you were a gubernatorial pick, so to speak, or a gubernatorial choice. Let me ask you a question. When you thought about the places that you could go and the many areas that you could serve, we know you have several degrees from the University of South Florida, Go Bulls, and also a Master of Public Administration from Florida State. When you thought about the many places you could go, why did Lakeland stand out as a
So I have to correct you. I'm not. I have my CPM, my certified public manager from Florida State, but I'm a bull.
You're
through and through. So Lakeland, like I said, my sister was a mock. So my oldest sister, I'm one of 5 kids. So I grew up with a large family in Minnesota, and my oldest sister was the one who came to Florida Southern on a volleyball scholarship. So that's what introduced me to Florida, and specifically to Lakeland. As I think I was in 6th grade when that happened. So from there, I just saw her and I said, well, I mean, I want to go to Florida where there's palm trees and I can play volleyball. I'm tall too. So I kind of shifted it, and that's how I came down to Florida. And then when thinking about Lakeland specifically, or where I want to serve, what really comes down to quality of life. You know, I really love the Central Florida area. I've kind of been in and around the Tampa Bay. So Lakeland, again, not too far off, but it's really the quality of life for my family, and serving that community and really getting involved in the community, and not just having it be a place to work, but a place to live too.
365 people applied for the position you now have. We were told 112 were actually eligible. And then it was down to the wire of 2, and here you are. What in all of the other areas that you have worked, or what are some of the things that you think prepared you greatly to be, because these are advancements. What are some of the things that you would say that prepared you for the role you are now in?
I just think every experience or opportunity that I've taken part in, everything's an opportunity to grow, right?
Yes.
And my personal philosophy is you're either getting better or getting worse. And if you think you're staying stagnant, you're actually getting worse. So
yes.
here's your clue. So I think that just a plethora of different things have helped prepare me and put those tools in my toolbox from the many different people that I've gotten to work with. And, you know, it's not always the awesome rock star mentor that helped shape you. It's also, you know, that terrible boss that that really wasn't so great.
Well, I don't think you've had any here, but what is it that you think that you could learn from a terrible boss?
Well, I think you just learn, you know, anyone, no matter if they're good or bad in their leadership skills, you're seeing, you're adapting your own leadership skills of what you do like and what you don't, and what can work for you. And I think just finding your own authentic leadership style is key. And you learn that by being exposed to more leadership styles. So you don't have to be exposed to a terrible boss to see that. But it definitely helps, you know, what not to do.
Well, you've been described as a great communicator, or one who's a problem solver. And that's how you've been viewed. When you look at yourself and your leadership style, how do you view you?
I just think I'm a people person. And I think that, you know, we are in the people business. The whole reason we exist is for our people. So, and that's the good and the bad. You know, I love problem solving. I love taking apart complex issues. You know, the person who comes to me upset, I don't want to say I love it, right? Because I don't want them to be upset, but I love working through the issues to get them not be so upset. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about last year. I was trying to overlook last year, but let's talk about last year. You were leading in a time when we were faced with, and I hate to keep saying the word, but unprecedented circumstances. And then to add insult to injury, as it were, we had to deal with some things in the city of Lakeland, and there were a lot of protests and a lot of distraction in a year when we were already distracted by a global pandemic. As you led through that and found your voice, as a woman in the position of leadership, what is it that you brought to the whole of that game that you think was uniquely suited to you?
So I had the unique opportunity when COVID hit the United States, and when we were preparing for it at the city level, that the then city manager, Tony Delgado, kind of said, Emily, you're going to take the lead on this. Of course, we had no idea at the time what he was telling me to do.
Volunteering.
Yeah.
See, that's the second week I've heard this word.
It's a popular word, popular term. Hopefully the dictionary adapts. So I think that what unique factor I brought, you know, I don't know that it was necessarily anything about me being a female, but I just think that my willingness to communicate and over-communicate, I kept telling our team, you know, we're all used to hurricanes, you know, and if you're not, you're the slim minority in the group, because we've experienced hurricanes at the local level. And the thing about hurricanes and communication is I'll tell you a message about a hurricane, you'll tell your team, and we're playing this game of telephone. And it gets a little bit diluted, but people have been through hurricanes, so you clear it up in your head before you then tell the next person. Mm-hmm. Well, in COVID, we've never experienced a global pandemic to that, well, like ever. Mm-hmm. So the message is we had to over-communicate, and we had to make ourselves available to have those open lines of communication, because the message was getting so distorted, and there were so many different lines of communication. You know, you could turn on the TV, the radio, social media, it doesn't matter. Anyone had something to say about it, but how are we controlling business operations from an organization to inform our team?
Well, there were a number of issues that became quite volatile. The mask mandate,
yep.
the shutdowns. And so when you're leading a team and you're having to communicate and to deal on that level where you know there are going to be some
yep.
yays and possibly a lot of nays, how do you navigate that?
Well, it's important to know your role, right? Mm-hmm. So we are not policymakers, and sometimes that's a beautiful thing to be able to say that. But our job is really to just inform our elected officials and have them make the policy decisions. It is not, you know, it's not the opinion of Emily Colón that we're going to ride out on. And I think specifically for COVID, we just stayed in lockstep with the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and the Department of Health. And because we're not medical experts in the local government field, and we relied heavily on the medical experts in the community, and then the CDC and the DOH. So that is how we kind of manage that to staff. You can have your personal opinions, but ultimately it's not, this is how we're doing it and how we're going to follow the protocols we put into place.
What happens when you have a policymaker, and here we are in the city, we're looking at an election not too long from now to replace a city commission or to fill a city commission seat, and yep. there are varying views among the candidates on a number of issues, from you know, police wearing body cameras, to the road diet, to what happens to the Cleveland Heights Golf. There are a number of issues. When you are not, you're in a lead role, but you're not a policymaker, how are you able, or what it is that you're reminding your team about as you go about, you know, the day-to-day of enforcing or putting into play what it is that they've come up with? So
our team's pretty strong. They know we're not policymakers, and it's just those helpful reminders, especially during election season, that it's their opinions. And a lot of times, you know, you have an idea of what something is, and then you get into it and it's something else, and that's okay. They can change their mind or they can keep it the same. That's okay. Our job is just to give them the information and the facts and stick to the facts. And then they got elected so they can make that decision, and then we carry it out and implement. So, you know, it's your basic public administration. Yeah.
So we have a couple of little things in common.
Okay.
All right. Among those, the love of good coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. And exercise. I know, albeit Peloton. I don't know.
Yeah.
But calligraphy. Tell us about that.
So I like to do, it's what's called hand lettering. I think that's just the millennial term for it, because it's probably not as prescripted as calligraphy, but I just like it. It's just something I've done to pass some time.
Is this the way you relax?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, when I'm sitting down with my daughters and they're coloring, this is just something to do other than color. Yeah.
Can we check off in a given that maybe 10, 15 years from now you'll be still making big moves in the city of Lakeland?
I don't know if I can commit.
Am I putting you on the spot?
I don't think my employment contract lasts that long. But I mean, I have no idea. When people ask me how long we're going to be in Lakeland, the honest answer is I have no clue. You know, right at this moment in time, we have no intentions of leaving. We love the schools that our girls are in. We're loving the organization. We're happy right now.
And just loving life.
I'll say though, in all fairness, we do like to buy houses and move. We're not planted. So when I say we're looking for a house, everyone says, where are you going? I said, I don't know. There's no houses. I haven't found a house yet.
Does the city manager know this? No.
Yeah, I know. So by the way, if you have a house that you're getting ready to put on the market, let me know.
Yeah. Well, we are going to be enjoying the time that we have with you here. And
thank you.
We look forward to hearing more great things. The future seems bright regardless of where you are. And I guess my final question to you, your vision for the city of Lakeland, whether you're here 5 or 10 years from now, and the legacy you would hope to leave, should you have to leave.
Sure. You know, I just hope any time that I leave behind a legacy of empowerment and for people to really understand their purpose in the organization, whether it's a director or a frontline employee, how they, every employee that we have is critical to the city. And it sometimes I feel like it gets lost and they think that their role is smaller than it is. And I think just understanding the purpose and the why for the city, if I leave behind that legacy, I mean, I'd be more than fulfilled with that.
Absolutely. Well, Emily Colón, it was a joy talking with you.
Thank you.
Your year is going to just get bigger and better.
Yeah, definitely bigger.
And hopefully brighter.
Yes, thank you.
And just want to thank you for joining us and thank the wonderful folks at Florida Southern College for allowing us to be in their spot, the lovely students that are assisting with this production. And we'll talk again next time, real soon.
Thank you for supporting independent local journalism.